All right, we are recording, and as it says right here, well, it's going medieval. It doesn't say that here, but we have a new update: prisoners and gates. Queues provided by Tinsley PR. But yeah, so you now have a prisoner system. And by the way, I have a feeling none of this, except for the gates, are relevant for me because I'm doing a passive game at the moment, passive save. So yeah, but a prisoner system, gates, captive laborer system, where the prisoners you can actually have do work if you have a warden. Recruiting prisoners? Not entirely sure what they mean by that. There are merchants that you can apparently trade prisoners to and purchase from. I don't really like that idea. Yes, you can execute them. New rule. New role because there's the warden, but there's also the jailer, although it's the. Not actually sure what the correct pronunciation would be. But the more traditional name of a Gaoler. So definitely jailer would have come from that, but it might be more like a gaoler, gaoler, something. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into it. And as I said, I don't think any of this is going to be relevant unless I encounter the merchant and purchase people. And I'm not doing that. Oh, they also refactored a whole bunch of stuff because of the new buildings. That we might actually see. Fuel buildings like torches might load as on and 100% fueled. Okay. Fuel buildings like torches may load as on, as in they're burning, and 100% fueled. That actually seems like could be a good thing. I'm not sure why they have a frowny face there. Well, I guess if you don't want them on, but I typically do. Windows and doors might load as open. I think it's still summer, so that would not be a problem. Windows and doors marked for opening, closing, locking will load with no order on them. Not entirely sure what that means. If they just mean that they may appear as that, despite you not wanting them to be. Okay. And buildings with less than max HP will magically repair themselves because yes, there is that capability. Okay, so that yeah, because it's still it's gonna be autumn soon. So. There. Oops, that's not. There we go. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't have a variation listed, but yeah. So there's all that, and where would the gates be? Actually, no. Okay. Yeah, have the gallows, which people don't necessarily like seeing. Prisoner cell marker, prisoner's stash for holding their goods. It has also been a bit since we've gone through it. Yeah, the prisoner warden's desk. Is that? Does maybe need to be researched? Yep, portcullis. Gates. Okay. Yeah, because I've not been bothering with that. Okay. Yeah, so one thing about gates, though, that they've refactored buildings, they've also refactored people. But, oh, yeah, and I'm very neat idea. It's stupid. I love the idea. It's still kind of stupid. And the commentary on it being stupid is more to do with why is this a solution. But somebody left a comment on the previous video. Ladders. Pets can't use ladders. Lady Volcana. I completely did not think about that. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid, the idea of like putting a wall up around the trees and just using ladders. But that's a commentary on the game. That's got nothing to do with your idea. That's a great idea. I love that. I love that. Just a question of where do I want to do it? Where do I want to do it? Because this isn't quite good because I got too much stuff developed around it. I'm just trying to. Yeah, actually, I should just do it this way. Yeah, this should be more or less just a generic clear, but whatever. Okay, so it should actually be below like that. How deep do I have this thing? 1, 2, wait, 12, so 14, 16. Good. Actually, hang on. No, come on. They really need the ability to only select contiguous things. But we got prisoners instead. Okay. I guess it is true. I can have them be a little bit taller. Since I can't have I shouldn't have saplings dropping on top of the walls. And one thing that does stink about this situation, though, is just the timing. That because of this being the end of summer, that means this stuff will be put down in winter. Oh, it's not far enough over. No. Sorry, I was trying different button combinations to see if I could do a contiguous selection. No. Of course. There. And actually, I do need to do that, because I don't want animals to be able to get around there. Oh, and before I forget... Are you kidding me? Hang on. Son of a bitch. It wiped the zones. It should not have done that. That really, really annoys me. Because I don't think there's any reason it should have done that. Ah. Damn it, that's the wrong spot. But we got prisoners. It wipes over things that are actually set at the time, because that zone is there. That's not something that needs to be built. That's just there, and it wiped it. Even though I'm pretty sure you can't. Well, yeah, I mean you can't have one of those zones in Come on. It's like, why would I be selecting the chickens that are underground? But yeah, no, it should not have, or it could have made it an option, but it didn't. I'm sorry, it's just the rant that I had. Pretty sure that was at the end when I'd stopped playing somewhat. Which, yes, I did also see that comment. Who was it that left that? Oh, wow, that I didn't even realize. That was actually from a while ago. Somebody left a comment about the whole, how I'll just basically continue ranting after I leave the game. It's like, yeah, I get that, but sometimes I just don't want even the sound of the game going in my ears while I'm trying to rant. Come on. It's a rant. I'm supposed to be not paying attention to the other stuff. Isn't that how that works? But it still is just kind of annoying, the situation here that it's like, yeah, we got the I'm just gonna move this wall in. Why not? There. There. You know what? Yeah, let's just do it then. The ends of each. Yeah, we got prisoners, but we don't have the whole thing I was ranting about. Yeah, because it was at the end of last week. The actually, yeah, do that now. Okay. So it didn't copy over the settings. It copied over the type, but not the settings. But yeah, the rant I had last week about why is it that pets would even go after this stuff, and that there's no way of stopping that. It's like, how do you have this system in place that you can't be like, no, this is where the pets get fed. They eat this, and that's it. And you control that. Because it's completely reasonable. But anyway. I didn't even finish talking about the door, about the building stuff. But yeah, they refactored that, which includes some neat things. Like, with the gates, it will actually... my brain is turning off slightly. Oh, I forgot to do that thing. Let's see that. So with gates, because they have to be able to swing open, they actually have that set up so that my brain is turning off again. So that there's forbidden zones. So you can't have can't accidentally build in those spots then. What is it? Yeah, hit X. Oh, it's interesting. Didn't update that icon. Yeah. I know in theory I could have relocated, but this is just easier. Yeah. You know, I know you're working, but do that. Anyway, so this is just things they have, and there is nothing I'm interested in. So it's really just a question of what am I willing to sell them? You know, I don't even care. I don't. I really don't. Ah. Oh, yes, and that's right. That's something else that they did. Is this? Okay. They changed the requirements on this, on the Great Hall, but it looks like I'm fine there. No, come on. Okay, maybe let me try this. The heck? Why would it? So I'm just trying more key combinations where it's like, okay, click on that and then maybe like control, like have that selected and then like control and drag. Will that capture just the things you want? No, that's not how that works either. I mean, I'm sorry. I get that, you know, where there's some quality of life improvements. Yes, give me a moment. Candles and braziers are added to Great Hall room requirements as heat sources. So that's at least 4 torch, wall torch, candelabra, candle source, or brazier. I'm covered on that. So that's fine already. It's like, yeah, that's quality of life improvement. Why that's quality of life, I'm not sure. It's just change. Events that were ended, canceled during the gathering phase end without penalty. I wonder if that might be why one times I did it, it should have been an excellent feast or whatever it was. And it was like, nah, everyone's morale's down. It's like, what? Events should occur more frequently now. Not entirely sure how that works because you trigger them, but or maybe I don't remember for some of it. But anyway, added perk icons to the character creator list. Not relevant because I'm not making them at the moment. That would take a new game. And doors, gates, and tall gates have variant shapes too. That's not a quality of life improvement. I'm sorry. By definition, well, doors, I guess, maybe, but gates and tall gates were introduced here. Like that's part of this update. And those are the same ones that we've had for a while. Okay, so I guess now we can do that kind of stuff. I don't think I really care that much. That's curious. The reason I said that was curious is because it wouldn't make me think, go away. I'm gonna turn up cut plants. And grow. Nope, there. And I know I've complained about it before. They really should have this is a work zone. Prioritize this work zone. I don't care what the work is you have to do in there. Do it. I really need to be doing that. I just... yeah. Okay, I did mention the thing about the refactoring with the buildings. They've also refactored the humans. Which means that now basically everyone, settlers and NPCs, which they're technically all NPCs, but anyway, now we're basically all identical. That they can all have perks and such, and all can be impacted by different things. So, for example, one thing that is mentioned is sorry, I'm just also trying to clear out some email while I'm talking. No, actually do keep the change list open. My brain's just partially turning off again. When it's raining, they use the example when it's raining that archery, trying to shoot bows, your settlers get a penalty for that. Well, now raiders will also get a penalty from that because they are basically the same thing. It is kind of funny because they do even say that that a settler can be a prisoner, can be a captive, can be a this, can be a that. But they also do say that prisoners cannot become captives. Well, sorry, prisoners cannot become settlers, and that I just find a little funny. Okay, so the walls are almost like that. That's just this bit left that no one's doing anything with. Is construct? Go away! Seriously, go. Okay, yeah, because construct's over here. So here, let me do that. This is so stupid. You know what will be a problem? Is if any of these guys get stuck in there. Any of the pets get stuck inside. You know, and that is also true. We shouldn't even have all these going. Okay. No, Edith, I love that you're doing some work here. Okay, Marcus. No. You are going to prioritize that. Now, prioritize that. And you know what? Because I really, really do not trust any of them, there. Son of a bitch. Come on, please. Fill in the damn hole. Okay. I can only hope. It doesn't look like anyone is in here, so. Alright. Turn that back on. I do find it funny that there's still not cutting these down. Well, I guess grow is in front of it. But yeah, there's so many true quality of life things that they really need to be doing here, and we got prisoners. It just annoys me because it feels so much like they just have whiteboard ideas for this feature and that feature, and it's like, oh, let's get those implemented, and it's like, yeah, there's also various improvements you can do as well that would be way more valuable that people would care a hell of a lot more about, and you're not doing them. I mean, just it makes me think about how with Satisfactory that recently exited, it was a month ago, exited early access, and one thing that they added that legitimately was, like a lot of people seeing it, it's like, this is like the best thing. I mean, say they added so many things. I mean, okay. Probably the legitimate actual best thing that they added with the 1.0 update was the dimensional storage, which basically means that you have access to some of your materials anywhere in that world. Okay, it's really neat, really awesome. Yeah, so that's good. But when just seeing the patch notes and such for the stuff that they added, I think most people were like, no, the best thing was oh wait, hang on. Cut plants should also be. So let me pull it. Was that there was now a build mode such that the conveyor belts in there, because Satisfactory is a factory building game. Was that there was an option for straight. So it would basically only allow the belts to be straight and make 90-degree turns. And some people are like, this is the best thing ever. Like, this is more important than everything. And a lot of the stuff they added is, yeah, you would say this matters more. But I think at that point, no one quite realized how impactful the thing was, the dimensional storage, how powerful that would be. I mean, it is amazing what that allows you to do, how that changes the game. But I mean, but it's like that. We need the straight conveyor belt option here. There's so much stuff here where that seems small, but it's huge, because that is something we want to be able to organize like that, and it simplifies so much. But in this game, it's, no, here's a new feature, here's a new feature, here's a new feature, here's a new feature. I mean, it's like I said, and it's not unreasonable to say this is a project site. This is the priority. I don't care what the work is in there. Do that. That's not unreasonable. It really isn't. Alright. I also am finding it very annoying that it's like, these guys... You know what? It's like, I said when saplings, these should be cut. And they just weren't. They simply were not. No, just cut it down. That should also harvest. It's like, I want... Son of a bitch. Oh, no, they're taking them to the store. I thought they were coming in to eat them. And they might also eat them in storage, but... And one thing I do recognize that in theory, some of this would be difficult to implement. I get that, but it still is. Is it more difficult than the prisoners? Than implementing prisoners? I mean, really, is it more difficult than that? To set up zones where it's like, no, these are the pet eating zones so that they can only eat the things you put there, or designated troughs. This is what pets eat. It's only if those are out of food will they eat anything else. That's not unreasonable. Nor would having designated pet sleeping areas. I mean, it's like, there are so many things. It's like, this is 100% reasonable. Why don't you do it? Oh, no, they took care. So all I'm missing is a willow, which I think is also just not that common in here anyway. Okay. What the hell else do I have to talk about? I know there is stuff. Let me just pull it up. Yeah, the main thing is that. So, an announcement that it's surprising that they are doing it. It's not, well, it's a surprise. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. It doesn't surprise me that it's happening. It surprised me that it's happening now, I guess is a way to put it. AMD and Intel have announced a partnership, an x86 ecosystem advisory group, I think is what the full name of it is. And basically what that boils down to is they're going to be working together to come up with, I think the better way to put it is x86 standards. Obviously it is already somewhat standardized, but the standards going forward for different things, for development there that, will provide greater consistency between their products. And yeah, you may be thinking, well, why would they want that? Well, it benefits both of them if they can design together certain standards that then operating systems can use. I mean, think about in recent years. Both AMD and Intel have suffered performance hits because of Microsoft, because of Windows. When AMD went to the Zeppelin die for the original Zen, they had issues. In part because in the original Zeppelin dies, the core complexes were 4-core. It wasn't until Zen 3? Yeah, Zen 3, I think, is when they finally went to 8-core complexes. But the original Zeppelin die had 2 of these, which meant that the memory controller was split. And you definitely saw that with some of the Threadrippers, like the 2990WX. That you could actually have different ways that the memory would be connected. That was a problem that led to Linux actually being much more reliable and performant than Windows, even though Windows is the dominant operating system. Now, okay, you might be saying, well, yeah, but that's, Microsoft didn't really care about AMD. Yeah, to some degree that may be true. I mean, AMD is still a smaller portion of CPUs than Intel. But then let's look at Intel with its P-core, E-core design. They've also had issues with the scheduling. Now, true, they work very closely with Microsoft to get it to work as well as possible, but they still have issues there. Games like that's, again, kind of an issue for them. And they are getting better, but it's still that complicates things. Now, AMD is not using and likely will not end up using a big little design like that or something comparable because they don't need to. They have their own design that makes some of that easier. Because E-cores have different features than P-cores and all the Intel CPUs with them, whereas AMD has their Zen and Zen C cores, like 4 and 4C, that the features are identical. The C cores are much smaller, so they use less power, but they also run slower as well. But that's okay because they are small, because that's the idea there. But the features being identical means Windows, or whatever operating system, can just throw whatever at any of them. It's just going to be a question of, oh, okay, well, this is a task that a higher clock speed is desirable for, so we want it running there. Right? Okay, it's saying 4. Where the hell are the other 2? I got no idea. But still, then recognizing which cores are faster, which cores are slower, so the appropriate things are sent where they should be. So, for example, right now, probably not so much the case, but in theory, if my CPU had regular Zen cores and C cores, the C cores would actually make a lot of sense to do the video encoding right now, while the faster cores, the Zen cores, would handle the game. Because the game is going to care a lot more about the speed, whereas I'm using X264. It is freaking efficient. Alright, that you just throw enough resources at that, man, it'll be awesome. So it's like, doing that, especially because if you can have... So, I mean, this will also be the case with Intel. Like, I would love to see them do... I don't know if they have done it, though. They may have. Like a 6P core and then like 12 or 16 E cores. They did that. That thing would be awesome if you could control that the E cores handle the encoding. If you have that set up, that will actually be very powerful. Do that. Don't think I really care about the rest. There. I'm trying to prepare for winter. But it still is, it's like between Intel and AMD, if they could come up with something consistent between them, even though they have very different approaches, but something consistent between them for identifying telling an operating system, these are the cores that should be running at, give it the tasks that want high speed. These are the cores, that speed isn't necessarily what's important, but the amount of threads might be. It's like, if they came up with something consistent there, then that could be very beneficial when working with Windows or any operating system. So this definitely makes sense that they would work on it. And it will prove interesting to see what we ultimately get out of it as well. And also, a while ago, I had seen rumors, because of both companies working on chiplet designs, using chiplet designs, the idea of having... Because there was some independent group that did then work also on designs, in interface fabric, kind of like Infinity Fabric, but the physical design as well, not just the protocols there. So that you could potentially have an AMD, well, rather, this would probably make more sense, a Radeon GPU chiplet attached to an Intel CPU chiplet all on the same package. In theory, that's possible. I kind of doubt that's what would happen, but it could. It could happen. That is a curious bug, and I don't recall seeing mention. How it loses the on-off there. Okay. Just looking at the known issues, that isn't one that's known, but whatever. Yeah. So if that is something that is going to eventually be in the future, and in theory, you could definitely do it. And it could be done that they would allow it to happen as well. That both AMD and Intel would allow that to happen. That is reasonable. Well, rather, not impossible, I should say. And this could potentially enable that. That, certain physical designs and the protocols for how a Radeon chiplet would communicate with an Intel CPU, that could be something that such an advisory group would develop. I'm just looking to see. Oh, yeah, they also mentioned with a little bit with AI, and in a way that does make sense, that we're in such a growth period right now for figuring out AI hardware, AI acceleration. x86 is going to be part of that. If for nothing else than running the other things, but it is also x86 can do it. It's a very false belief that you need tensor cores for doing this stuff. It's very false. And it annoys the hell out of me that some people believe that is the case. Oh, yeah. I mean, why not? Why not try? Actually, I know exactly why. Although I think that cattle might domesticate more easily. But it's going to be winter, and I don't want them running out to try to domesticate during winter. Anyhow, brain is turning off a little bit again. Oh yeah, with the AI thing. I could see this also being a, hey, we know there's going to be a hell of a lot of innovation and invention going on between the two of us. With all the focus on AI, let's try to make sure we're on the same page. Because you wouldn't want something where... and actually I have seen that this is a thing. Because I was looking into how to potentially get Stable Diffusion running on the laptop, which has a Radeon GPU. So it would want to be using the hardware there. Well, there's actually a way to reprocess the trained models to run better with Radeon than they would with NVIDIA. That's kind of a problem. And that's the kind of a thing that like an AI advisory group would try to dispel and try to get rid of, to make sure that both are using a standard, both NVIDIA and AMD are using a standard for how the data is being stored in these blobs, so that they can equally make use of it. Okay? That is completely reasonable, and it is... Yeah, what I just said, it's completely reasonable to try to have that, because that benefits everyone, because then that also means that the consumer can just use the software and expect good performance, and not have to do additional processing just because, oh, my GPU is different than yours. I was like, it is kind of silly, right? So having such standards there, because then it comes down to, okay, well, who actually has the better hardware versus who just, has dominance over the standard. So yeah, we'll see what comes. We'll see what comes. But I do think it's funny how some people are like, well, this I was never expecting to happen. It's like, why? Why would you not expect it to happen? I mean, think about it. Intel originally came up with the x86 architecture and instruction set for the 8086 over 40 years ago. AMD's the one that developed the 64-bit variant, right? Originally called AMD 64. It's more commonly called now x86 64. And Intel uses it as well. And it's like that. There's a benefit to them doing that research, and if they have something that works, letting the other then do it, because it keeps a coherent ecosystem that they are both operating in. Like, imagine if AMD hadn't done that. Then Intel would have had to come up with potentially a completely new 64-bit architecture. That, I think Itanium was supposed to be that. I don't know enough about Itanium, though. That, yeah, it might have performed very well for some tasks, but in certain places it would be no, AMD still does, because they're using an x86 variant. It also has backwards compatibility. That was part of it for the 64-bit stuff, is making sure you have backwards compatibility. So that would give AMD such an advantage until you get the things that are designed for the new 64-bit non-x86 architecture. So now that gets the advantage. And now AMD's... It would be such a mess doing that. And it's... I mean, just think about today, like, having things compiled for ARM instead of for x86. And how that can mean that you can't run things on certain systems. I mean, it's... You'd run into things like that. But ARM and x86 have very different origins. AMD and Intel are both working on the same x86 thing, though, so trying to keep it coherent makes a lot of sense. There was another thought that entered my mind concerning some of that, but it's exited now. You can try to think of it, because I think it was also a good point. Oh, that's right. have been rumors for quite a while now. And I would not be surprised if this advisory group ends up doing some of it. The rumors are that at least Intel wants to start culling stuff out of the x86 instruction set. Or rather, the larger x86 processor stuff. So, there's just old designs, old technologies that aren't used anymore. Like, is that it? SSE? I don't quite remember, but there was somewhere it's like, yeah, this stuff, we don't need it to exist anymore. It's not used. And I remember years ago, there was suggestion of them trying to have a CPU where those are removed, and instead there's other circuitry that, and I know I've talked about this in previous things, there's other circuitry that emulates it. And while, yes, technically emulating would be slower than natively running the code on circuitry dedicated for it, but it's also, you're reducing so much complexity in the CPU. You're removing so much dedicated ASIC circuitry, application-specific integrated circuit, removing so much of that for this other stuff that can be very efficiently designed that, yeah, it's technically running a little bit slower, but it's less circuitry, so the overall system will be smaller, will run cooler, use less power. And you might also be able to put in there certain things to make it run very, very fast. You might be able to optimize its design. And there have actually been some things I've seen where, like, translating DirectX API calls to Vulkan via DXVK can actually, in some cases, improve the performance, right? Because Vulkan can be so much more efficient. Radically different than instruction sets for running things directly on CPUs, yes. But still it's not an unreasonable thing to try to do. So, yeah, and it's just, I could see them working on that. A x86 Lite, where they remove the stuff that they don't need anymore, come up with a standard way for both of them to do that emulation for those times when you do need that support. So I could absolutely see that becoming a thing. Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting. It really will be interesting, and I do think it is very appropriate to believe that both... Well, that's not good. That both recognize the a benefit to doing this. Okay. Come on, there we go. There. I just need the light to see. That's not blighted? Looks blighted. That is blighted. Yep, here's another one. Very weird that that's not... We're not seeing the icons there. Seriously? You're kidding. You've got to be kidding. No. I'm sorry, this is another one of those. This is a priority. Do this kind of things. Right? Don't be running off like that. right? Because there is no way I should have to go and change the larger jobs thing. It's an emergency. Do what I'm telling you to do. And I should just be able to say, this is more important than whatever else you have going on. Only other thing I got to talk about, aside from like continuing to rant about how the game really has design flaws, the heck is going on? Anyway, I saw, and this is not related to gaming. It's more just, it's a personal interest thing for me, and so I do want to talk about it. Amazon announced new Kindles this week, which is definitely neat. One of them, it actually has a color e-ink screen, which is neat. It's overpriced, which is kind of why I want to talk about it. It is very overpriced. Is not what you should be doing. No, I mean, it's the Kindle Color Soft. I kind of want to just pull people. Okay, there are many that are coming now. But yeah, it's a Kindle with a color ink screen. That's great. The problem is, at $280, that for what it's offering is horrendously overpriced. And I'm not kidding, it is horrendous. Because and that's also a thing. It's like, no, I'm telling you to do it. You do it. I don't want somebody else to. Okay. Yeah, now focus on all that. And actually, let me do it this way. So cooking is the most important. Yeah, $280, 7-inch color e-ink screen. Last week I ordered, and it's actually supposed to come for me today, because remember I record these on Fridays. The Kobo Libra Color, which is also a 7-inch color e-ink screen. It's actually the same technology, though Amazon is saying that they've made some tweaks to the design of the what the Color Soft is getting. That may or may not make it better. I'd like to see what the independent reviewers say. But the Libra Color is $220. So it's $60 less expensive. All right? So right there, you've already got a problem with the pricing of the Color Soft. But there's more. Because the Libra Color, you can buy a stylus for it. And I did. The first party one from Kobo is not cheap. I will admit that. I will acknowledge that. It's like $70, I think, something like that. And I did order it. But I can use that to annotate on EPUBs and on PDFs. And I can annotate in color because it's a color ink screen. You can also just have it give you notes, basic notes where you're just drawing in advanced notes where it's like it'll actually try to take your handwriting and put into text. Okay, so it has these note-taking features that are pretty neat. The Color Soft does not. Libra Color is less expensive, but has these additional features. It also, Libra Color, has physical buttons. I like my physical buttons. I love my physical buttons. Physical buttons are so nice because I don't want to be putting my fingers on the screen where I'm trying to read. Okay? I mean, it's like margins on a book page so that I don't need to be covering what I'm trying to read just in order to advance the page. Okay, so I don't like that. And apparently Amazon has said that, yeah, we're just not going to do buttons at all anymore. Going forward, it's all going to be touch. It's like, there's some people you're just pissing off by doing that. And even just have one. They had the, I don't need that. They have a, they had the Kindle Oasis design. They could have just refreshed that. And some people would have been happy. Now, it is also true. The Oasis, they overpriced. They priced that thing so high that I have a feeling that the whole, oh, well, people weren't buying we had buttons, but people weren't buying it. It's like, well, yeah, because you made it like the $250, $300 option when you had $120, $150 options without buttons. I mean, it's like you were biasing your data that way. I mean, it's one of those seeing people claim market research. It's like, you can ask questions in certain ways to make sure you get the answer you want. So market research is tricky, both to interpret, and it is tricky that they pull tricks with it. Anyway, coming back to it, the ColorSoft is basically just an e-reader with a color screen. Kobo already has something that's all it is. It's an e-reader with a color screen, and it's $150. That's the Kobo Clara color. Okay. There's also a black and white version that I think is like $120, $130. Okay. So the actual most direct competition to the ColorSoft when it comes to just features and having the color e-ink screen, it is a smaller screen than the Clara, 6 inches instead of 7. But it's like no buttons, just basic color e-reader is almost half the price. The ColorSoft is a terrible product. I mean, it's one. Well, no, it's one of those. There's no bad products. There's only bad prices. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. That is a horrible price for what is being offered there. And it will be interesting to see what comes of that in the future. Like, will we see significant sales? Will we see price drops? I'm saying Black Friday is still coming up, so is Christmas sales. It'll be interesting to see what that is priced at, because I legitimately could believe that you will see a significant sale on it at Black Friday. But it's also, okay, I can see that because there might be enough people that are really into e-readers that'll be like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that. That's way overpriced. I'm not touching it. So it's like, oh, let's bring it down to $180, like $100 off. Now you'd get people buying it. All right, I could see that, because like that brings it a hell of a lot closer to the Clara. All right, it's most direct competition. Which, I mean, yeah, 1 inch bigger, $30 difference that you can do. But it's like I said, the Clara between the black and white and the color version is like $20 or $30. Okay, so I mean, it's ColorSoft is horribly priced. If you see it priced, if it does get a significant discount, then I do think that would be a, yeah, they screwed up on the price and they know. Well, or they figured it out. But there is something else, though. A lot of people, I can believe, aren't even aware of Kobo. They're not aware of other options than Kindle. Which is disappointing, but it's real. It's absolutely real that that's a thing. Because Amazon is that dominant, that people just know. You know, they go to Amazon, buy so much stuff there, and then it's like, oh, an e-reader? Oh, I kind of like this idea and buy that. And it's just, that just is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to turn up mining. Where is that? Here it is. Because I want that taken care of. So, yeah, but it's, I've got a Kindle DX, which, what's that, like a 10-inch screen? But it's like a Kindle 2.5. Still works, by the way. I charged it up just the other day. So that much at least is functioning, but it's not, my brain just turned off again. It's certainly not current. And actually, I can't technically use it for anything. Well, except for like Calibre, something like that to load stuff on there, because it was 3G only by AT&T, and AT&T has shut down that network. I also have a Kindle 3, Kindle 3 with Wi-Fi. So that'll still work, I think. I don't actually know. It might not be able to accept Amazon's newer proprietary formats. That's another advantage to the Kobo. That takes EPUB. Well, it natively reads EPUBs but there's also like a variant to EPUB that Kobo made. But still, it's really nice to work with EPUB because that's like, if you just want to, if somebody's offering a free ebook or whatever, it's like it's probably in that format. Because it's the open standard. And also, by the way, since I do write and publish my own books on Amazon, they want EPUBs. Like, you don't, there are ways that you can, do the conversion locally on your machine, then provide that to Amazon. It's like, no, they don't take that. I'm dead serious. And I submitted, I published a book just earlier this year in, was that in April? Yes, it had to have been in April. And it's like, yeah, I'll give them this. Nope. Give us an EPUB. It is so stupid. They're just committed to the proprietary format to the point where it's like, no, we work in EPUB, but this is what we actually live. It's so stupid. Yeah, I don't know if the Kindle 3 could actually use, because it would still be the Mobi file format, and they're on AZW, and I think there's also another one. I don't remember the name of. It's, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. But it is what it is. And I would like to get a new Kindle at some point, but no, I'm pretty sure I'll be happy with the Kobo. And also, I've got a Nook, the Glow Light 4. So that is a current version of the Nook EPUB reader. Has Patreon buttons. In fact, both the Glow Light 4 and 4 Plus have Patreon buttons, so you can only get an e-ink Nook. They also do tablets, but you can only get an e-ink Nook with Patreon buttons. And one other thing that I actually think gives Barnes & Noble an advantage over Kobo and Amazon, and it's kind of weird. Both Amazon and Kobo have, I think it's the Kobo VIP program, but for Amazon it's Kindle Unlimited. Oh, that's right. I let you do anything because you're an asshole. You can take that. Interesting. He's already coming in with some of the stuff set. I don't think I can complain about that. I'm not sure why that's where it is. Anyway, but Kindle Unlimited and I think it's Kobo VIP, I don't remember. I'm not doing it. It's a subscription service that gives you access to a very large library. It's like, okay, that's fine, but I don't... It's weird seeing how what some people's reading habits are, where they'll like actually be reading multiple books at the same time, just cycling through them. I can't do that. I do one at a time. But it's also, so I wouldn't be able to take advantage of those subscription things, and I also just don't like subscriptions in general. It's like, I want to buy the stuff. Well, Barnes & Noble doesn't have a subscription service like that. Well, like that. But if you're a member, which is free, they have this cashback program with stamps. It's not always that great, but they do, for free members, double stamps at times. So like Black Friday will probably have one, where you get one stamp for every $10 you spend. 10 stamps gets you $5. Well, double stamps obviously accelerates that. And if you're a premium member, which I'm doing that, it's $40 a year. I get 10% off and free shipping for all physical items. But I will get triple stamps at times, which is really neat. And I can amass now a whole bunch of cash back, essentially, on Barnes & Noble that I can use to just purchase an ebook for my Nook. And I've done that a few times. Sometimes with books where it's like, no, I generally want that. Like I recently bought some movie novelizations not that long ago using that money. Using that cash back. But I've also bought a couple books where I've just heard people say that, oh yeah, these are really good books. I've read them. I did not care for them so much, but it's like, I only use that cash back. So it's not like I spent real money on it. It was effectively free from me. And I find that system better than a subscription just have access to everything. Because I would not take advantage of it. I would not be able to take advantage of it enough. it's also, I will take, like, I've been reading through a lot of public domain books from, like, Project Gutenberg or standard ebooks. Been doing that for years now. I mean, I do also have plenty of non-public domain books as well, but it's like I've been doing that for quite a while. Like, the Iliad, the Odyssey, I've been reading through Le Morte d'Arthur, so that's basically the definitive source for Arthurian legend. Everything that you see that's Arthurian, it tracks back to that. Arthurian legend predates it, but this was like the first full compilation that everything references. Everything references today. But yeah, I feel like stopping. But yeah, so we're at 1940 to 2013. But yeah, and I sit and I will just read through all of them. So buying the books makes a lot more sense. And it's also this way with Barnes & Noble. It's not limited what that I can use that cash back on anything at Barnes & Noble. It's not limited to just certain books like Kindle Unlimited. And let me actually look. So what the name is of the Kobo program. I think it is Kobo VIP. Yeah, Kobo VIP membership. And they do also have a Super Points thing that might be. Oh yeah. What is Kobo Super Points? I feel like that should be what are. Loyalty program that rewards you for your love of reading. I just have it up and I'm reading the thing. But reward yourself. Browse titles you can get with points, so it's not even all titles. Yeah. VIP members can earn 20 points for every $1 spent on ebooks. VIP membership has exclusive benefits, so it's. They do also have 10% off. So it's like I get how that's useful, but for me, no, not for only ebooks. It's $8 a month. Oh yeah, that's true. You do also get audiobooks, which I don't do audiobooks. But yeah, so just sorry. I'm sorry. I want to talk about the e-reader stuff because it does matter to me since I write books. I also have them, and I do enjoy using them. The convenience they offer is great. Not having to hold down the pages is nice. Just having a selection of whatever. One thing that's really neat is when there's you can highlight a word, and they have built-in dictionaries that'll just give you a definition in case it's a word you're not familiar with. Which that is so nice. So nice to have. And that's the Nook has it, I know the Kindle has it, I'm pretty sure the Kobo has it as well. I mean, it's like that's a very neat feature as well. That you obviously don't have with a physical book unless you just have a dictionary near you. Yeah, so I want to talk about this stuff, and it's just Amazon. What are you doing? I mean, just it's not good choices that they're making with that, and it's annoying. Quite annoying to me. But they're dominant because, as I'm pretty sure I said a little bit ago, Amazon has the advantage that because they are so dominant, there's probably a lot of people that only are aware of Kindle. They have no knowledge of Barnes & Noble, no knowledge of the Nook, no knowledge of Kobo. Or some other options. One that I've seen is called Books, and there's another, I don't remember the name for it, but Books, Boox. That and this other place, they basically make Android tablets with e-ink screens. And there are some that are color e-ink. But because they're Android tablets, you can have the Kindle app on there, the Nook app on there, the Kobo app on there, whatever else on there, and just read the books that way. So, yeah, it's not what I specifically want, so not what I purchased, but so many options there. So if you are interested in, because of those new Kindles, it's like, that's great. If that's what you want, get that. Legitimately, okay? Seriously, if that is what you want, get that. But also look at the other options, because you might find that some of them are more what you would want. You just need to be aware of them. Okay, that should be everything. See you next time.